Hi, my name is Samantha, and I'm with the Heart Gallery of Northwest Texas, and I'd like to share another adoption story with you. We have Michelle, and you have adopted through the foster care system directly. Can you tell me a little bit about your family before you adopted?
Sure. I have 4 children. My husband and I have 4 biological children. They are 27, 26, 24, and 23. We've been married for like 33 years, maybe, something like that. We started our family about 4 years after we got married, and just kind of, I don't know, grown from there.
Awesome. So how did you hear about adoption in the first place?
I guess I had been somewhere. I don't really remember where it was. And I picked up a little like business size card, but it was a magnet. And it said foster to adopt, and it was an 800 number. Well, I picked that up and stuck it on the refrigerator. And my husband was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Oh, just something I picked up today." And he said, "Are you doing something with this card?" And I was like, "I don't know." And he was like, "Well, talk to me." And I was like, "I don't know. The kids are getting older. We had 3 of them in college. Our youngest was left at home. He was a junior in high school." And he's like, he's kind of like backing up and like, "Whoa, what's this? What are you thinking about?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm just thinking about it. I'm just thinking it's just something I've always thought about. But I don't know. I just did not know." And so that card actually was on our refrigerator for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And for 2 years we just, every once in a while we would talk about it, but didn't really go into depth about it. And I guess after a couple years we got a little more serious about it. And one time he'd asked me, "Did you ever do anything about that foster thing?" That foster thing is what he called it. And I was like, "No." And he said, "Why not?" And I was like, "I don't know." And he said, "What's the matter?" And I said, "I don't know. I'm just scared. I'm really scared." And he's like, "Well, what are you scared about?" And I was like, "Well, you hear all the bad stuff."
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. I just don't know. And he said, "Just think about it, whatever." So a while, seriously, like 3 more months went by, and he's like, "Hey, why don't you just call it? Kind of just for fun." I don't know. And I was like, "Okay, I will." So a little more time went by, and then all of a sudden one day I was sitting there watching TV, and something just told me to call. And I called, and they sent us some information, and we were just like instantly in love with this. And we got real busy. My husband worked overseas, so how we did our training was we had to, when he was home, we had to hurry and get as much done as we could, and then move. He would go back overseas for 30 days. So it took us a little bit longer.
Did you get licensed through the state, or did you get licensed through a child placing agency?
Through a child placing agency.
Okay.
Yeah. When I called that 1-800 number, I guess they assigned me an agency.
Okay.
I'm assuming, because I had an agency call me and say, "Hi, I'm from, such and such. Heard you're interested in fostering." And I was like, "Yeah." So I guess that's how that worked.
So the process for getting licensed, how quickly did that go, since you had your husband working overseas?
I felt like it went pretty quickly. I'm not really sure like what the time frame is for other people, but I felt like it went really quickly because he was home for about 21 days, and in those 21 days we just worked really hard to get our trainings done and our home studies and all that stuff, and then we'd have to wait. So
was the waiting hard?
It was. I was like, "Is there anything I can do while he's overseas?" Yes, we were very anxious.
And by this time, your youngest
was a junior in high school.
Okay. Well, how did he feel about the whole adoption idea?
All my kids were like super excited.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, obviously 4 kids nowadays is kind of sort of a big family. So, and I come from a big family. So, we are a family that loves kids. And my kids were, I think my oldest son was like, "You're going to do what?" But he was in Corpus. But the other kids were like super, super excited, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. When's this going to happen?" And we were like, "Well, I mean, it's quite a process, you know, but we're gonna give it a shot."
What was the most challenging thing about getting licensed?
You know, I don't really know there was anything really challenging. I mean, they kind of get personal, you know, with some things. That you feel like, you know, you kind of feel like, well, you know, why are you really asking me this? But then when you sit back and think about it, and we talked about it, you kind of understand why they have to ask you some of the things that they ask you.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know. I can't say we had a challenge. I can't really think of one anyways.
Was it as difficult as you had anticipated it being? I didn't think so.
No. It was not difficult at all. Not at all. It was not difficult.
What did your extended family, like the community around you, did you have a church family that surrounded you, or extended family members?
Well, of course, we come from a small town, so everybody knows your business. They got wind of it, and they were like, "You're doing what?" We got very mixed reactions. A lot of people were like, "You're doing what? Your kid, I mean, you have your baby 2 years, and your kids are all grown. What are you thinking?" You know? But most people were like, "Oh my gosh, that's so awesome." And at the time, my son was, like I said, a junior in high school. So he had a lot of little, girlfriends, not, you know, girls in general. And they would hear. Logan would go to school, and he would tell them, you know, "My mom's getting the baby tomorrow, you know. Oh, here they come after school." They'd all come to see that baby or that child. Oh my gosh, they were just like, it was like I had had a baby.
Yeah.
You know, they were so excited.
Would you say that it opened up a whole new world to the kids at your son's school?
You
the
know,
experience of your family?
I think so. I think a lot of people were just really kind of in awe at what we were doing for kids. Yes, I mean, I think they were pretty, I don't know, they were just...
Something they might not have seen had it not been...
No.
Yeah.
I don't really know that there was, I mean, I'm sure there's been people in Sterling that have fostered, but at the time there was not. We were the only ones. Yeah, we were the only ones.
And there's a huge need for families here in San Angelo too. Even
Yes.
our whole region is very, very short on families that are both fostering and adopting. So you
Yes.
sharing your story is huge because it'll encourage people and it'll put those myths out, and hopefully we can share the truth. So after you got licensed, what was the day like that you signed your paperwork and said we're done with the training and we're
Well, that was like Yahoo. We're done with all that stuff. Now we're ready.
Yeah.
We were ready, and we actually had a child in 5 days.
Wow.
Yeah, from the time we completed everything, signed, got our license, hung on the wall, we had a baby in 5 days.
Now sometimes the weight depends on specifications of what kind of children you're looking for, if you're looking for a specific age or race or gender or
Yes.
specific behaviors or previous neglect and abuse that you can or can't tolerate. So
Yes.
what kind of parameters, were your parameters really wide or were they narrow?
Well, first of all, we were asked during the licensing process, how many children would you like to foster? And we both looked at each other, and we looked at him and said, 1. And he said, "Really? Just 1?" And we were like, "Yeah, just 1." And he was like, "Okay." He said, "Well, how about we put you for 1 to 2?" we were like, okay, that's fine. And he said, you can always say no. You know, you can get one and just be happy with that one and be like, I'm good, you know. And so we said, yes, go ahead, put us 1 to 2. So he did, and we got our one right away, and they called us 3 months later and said, you know, we have another one, and we were like, okay, sure, you know, we'll try it. And it was good. It worked out great, and we did that for about 3 months, and I was like, you know what, I can do more. I can do this. I can do more. So we went back and said, you know what, can we bump it up a little bit? And he said, sure. So he put us 1 to 5.
Oh my goodness.
And of course that
bump
number,
it up a little bit.
that number 5, I was like, okay, but I don't want 5. And he was like, he said, you know, no problem. Well, we got 2 more back to back, and none of these are sibling groups.
Okay.
They were just all, you know, one child. And so we got 2 more, and we did that for a little bit, and then said, okay, we're ready. So we're up to 6.
Wow.
Yes, and we're considering going group home.
Wow.
Yeah, but as far as what specifications and everything, we just, you know, we said, look, you know, because I know you can say only Caucasian, or, you know, you can age group and stuff. I said, look, I don't care about the race. I don't care if they're purple, green, blue, it doesn't matter. But I did stick to birth to 5. And that's what we've been getting, is the little ones.
We hear a lot of the time with the Heart Gallery, a lot of our children that are featured in the Heart Gallery are older, they're 8 and up.
Yes.
And so a lot of people will come and see the Heart Gallery and say, oh, I have a heart for that, but I don't see any little ones. And I'll say, they're out there.
They are.
They're out there.
They are.
And people are like, well, I'd really like to do this, but I really want the little bitty ones. And I'll say, just sign up. That's all you have to do. They'll show up. I have 2 single girlfriends even that take in only little bitty ones, and their houses are always full. So.
There's definitely little ones out there, because I'm like, the littler the better. And I mean, the oldest, well, we have adopted 4 of them. The oldest one that we have adopted was 13 months.
Wow.
The rest were younger. One was just 7 weeks old. The others was 7 months, and the other one was 9 months.
So when did adoption enter the picture for you?
Well, and again, we just thought we were going to foster, but it's so easy. It's so easy to just fall in love that it's like, I can't let them go. Nope, I'm not going to just foster for a year and then say, okay, fine, you know, send them on their way to someone else. I mean, I knew shortly into it that I wasn't letting go. If this child came adoptable, I wasn't. Yeah.
So they were placed in your home as a foster placement,
yes.
and then parental rights became terminated,
Yes.
and they became available for adoption.
Yes.
So did you get a call that said, hey, we have a little one who's available for adoption now, are you interested?
No, I haven't gotten any of those, because the ones that we got started out as foster and went through the full year of, you know, trying to make it, you know, so the kids could go back home, and not working out, became available. And yes, that's when we were like, you know, we're not turning our backs on this baby anymore.
Right.
You know.
What was the process like after that, when you found out they would become available for adoption? Did it take a while for that adoption to be finalized?
It does. It takes a while. Of course, the parents can appeal. So that sits in an appeals court for, you have no idea how long that can be. But it does. It takes a while. Yep.
How was the waiting? in that part?
You know, it's you do feel more comfortable situation, but then again, there's always that little slim chance in the back of my head that was always like, what if, what if, what if? You know, there's always that little what if. But I was very lucky and that what if never happened.
So what was adoption day like?
We did 1 out of 4 of the adoptions on adoption day, and that was so awesome. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. It's so wonderful to see all these kids getting forever homes. I mean, it's such a happy day. You know, the others were just kind of not around adoption day, and we needed to get it done and you know, kind of seal the deal. So those were done, like one was done in the summertime and stuff like that, and it was fun. It's such a relief. It's like, okay, you know, there's no way, you're not going nowhere now. And it's funny because when we adopted our 4th one, he's a stinker. He is, he's quite a handful. And my daughter asked if there was after he was adopted, she put a little Facebook post up and said, it's official, you know, and she put his little name and everything, and she said, there's no return policy on this one. And we were like, oh, that's true. Yeah, he's a mess.
That's neat. So how have you've adopted 4?
Yes.
You're still licensed to foster 2 more.
Yes.
Do you have 2 more in your home right now?
I do. I'm full.
And then you have your 4 biological children?
Yes.
What does Christmas at your house look like?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's like a bunch of adults and a bunch of little kids. It is so much fun. I mean, it's just, you know, it's all about the kids.
Yeah.
It's all about the kids. And the little ones I'm talking about. It's all about them now. But yeah, and we are in the process of adopting the 5th.
Wow.
She's a sibling. She's actually a sibling to one of the little girls we've adopted. And so now we're adopting her baby sister.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's neat. That's very. So this will be the first sibling.
First sibling. Yes. And it's really been awesome. It's just, I didn't realize, I know that you guys are really about keeping these families together. It's so important to keep the kids together, and I see that now. Now that I have my first sibling group, we're adopting the baby sister. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I can't explain the feeling. You know, it's just, it's really awesome. I can say that much. Yeah.
So you went from saying, we'll take just 1.
Yes.
To now you're contemplating group home status.
We're thinking about it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we're thinking about it.
God will really open your heart when you just
Yeah.
give them opportunity. Huh?
Yes. Because, you know, sometimes you think, how could I take any more? Even the foster kids, you know, I was like, will I feel the same? You know, and I don't know. You do. It's just there. It happens. You know, even though these kids are adopted, it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah. So if you could give families just a piece of advice or encouragement, what would you tell families that are just kind of sitting on the fence like you were for a few years about with a card, looking at it going, oh, do I?
Don't wait as long as I did. It's not bad at all. It is. It is by far the most rewarding thing that my husband and I have ever done.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for what you do.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for what you do.
I can't wait for your story to encourage more people to adopt through the foster care system.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing your story.
Okay. Thank you.